Shalom lekulam. Hello everybody. Welcome back. Today we're on the third part of the complete Hebrew alphabet guide. Today we're going to cover the letters Samech to Taf, sounds, functions, and examples. We're going to cover Sofiot letters, finalizing word versions of the letters Matzpencha, Mem, Tzadik, Pei, Nun, and Kaf. We're going to go over the Dagesh letters, Beged, Kefet, and we're going to do an overview of everything that we have learned so far about Hebrew letters. We're going to start with the letter Samech. The letter Samech is the equivalent Hebrew letter for the letter S in English, S for Spain. It could be Se, Sa, Si, So, or Su, depending on the vowel sign. The next letter is the letter Ain, a letter that traditionally has a unique Sephardi accent, which differentiates it from Aleph and Hey, but nowadays it's mostly pronounced as Aleph. For example, the word Ein and I. Originally, it used to be pronounced as Ein, but nowadays it is pronounced as Ein. The next letter is the letter Pei. In the beginning of the word, it gets a dagesh, just like the letters Bet and Kaf, and it sounds like P for Papa. Example, Pesach, Passover. Anywhere else within the word, except when it is the last letter, it might sound like P for Papa or F for French. Example, Sefarad, Spain. We can see that the letter P here acts as F for French. The letter P also has a finalizing word version, P Sofit, as in the word Aleph, which means 1,000, and it is pronounced as F for French. The next letter is the letter Tzadi. The sound of the letter Tzadi doesn't have an equivalent letter in English. It is similar to the sound of the letter T and S together, as in the word boots. When it gets a different vowel signs, it could be Tse, Tza, Tzi, Tzo, or Tzu. The letter Tzadi with an apostrophe will sound like the letters C and H combined, as in the word cheese, and serves us for pronunciation of foreign words. The letter Tzadi also has a finalizing word version which looks like this. The letter Kof sounds exactly like the letter Kaf when the Kaf is in the beginning of the word with the Dagesh. The next letter, the letter Resh, is the Hebrew version of the letter R in English. It could be Re, Ra, Ri, Ro, or Ru, depending on the vowel sign. The letter Shin has two roles. One of them has an equivalent letter in English, S for Spain. The other one doesn't. The sound S and H together, as in shoes. The combination of the letters S and H is the default sound of the letter Shin. Example, the word Shabbat. It means Saturday. The letter Shin, when it has a dot on the upper left side, sounds the same as S for Spain. Example, the word Sameach, happy. The letter Shin has both a vowel sign and an upper left dot. Therefore, the dot is turning it into Sin version of the letter Shin, and is pronounced as S for Spain. The last letter of the Hebrew alphabet is the letter Taf. It produces the sound T for Tom, the same as the letter Tet, the ninth letter of the Hebrew alphabet. The letter Tav is also a feminine suffix for nouns, verbs, and other parts of speech in Hebrew. Example, Gever, a gentleman. Geveret, a lady. Let's move on to the finalizing word version of the letters. The letters that are getting a finalizing word versions are Mem, Tzadik, Pei, Nun, and Kaf. If we put it in a word, it will be Matzpencha, your compass. The letter Mem, in the beginning of the word or in the middle, will look like this. At the end, it will look like that. The letter Kaf will look like this, and at the end, will look like that. Same goes for the letter Nun, and the letter Tzadik, and the letter Pei. All the rest of the letters in Hebrew will show up and will look exactly the same at the beginning of the word, in the middle of the word, or the end of the word. Letters with the dagesh. We mentioned that the letters Bet, Pe, and Kaf are getting a dagesh when they show up in the beginning of the word. Let's go over it again. The letter bet, when it shows in the middle of the word or at the end of the word, will sound like V for Victor if it doesn't have a dagesh. The letter bet, when it comes in the beginning of the word, will sound like B for baby. Same goes for the letter kaf. When it is in the beginning of the word, it will sound like Q, K, or C as in cat. But when it shows up in the middle of the word or the end of the word, it will sound like cha. Same goes for the letter P. When it shows in the middle of the word or the end of the word, it will be F for French, unless it has a dagesh. In the beginning of the word, it will always have a dagesh, and therefore it will always be P for Papa. I hope you enjoyed this class. I hope it has contributed to your understanding of the Hebrew alphabet. If you have any question or a comment, feel free to visit us at myalephbetkingdom.com. Shalom ולהתראות. I hope you enjoyed this class, and I hope it has contributed to your understanding of the Hebrew alphabet. If you have any question or a comment, feel free to visit us at myalephbetkingdom.com. Thank you for being with me. Shalom ולהתראות.